salutations. Happy Friday on this April 24th, 2026. A mere 58 days away from the official start of summer. And we continue to enjoy rather cool temperatures. And they seem to be enduring even for this next week. So it's chilly. It's chilly. We have a little bit of, it's just crazy. I guess we're just going to go straight from like late winter into summer, I think, and maybe some brutal. I don't know what's going to go on, but it just feels different this year. I have to tell you, it really is weird. And I know I keep talking about it, but I'll shut up. Welcome to Backstage. Okay. This is now the Backstage podcast. I don't know what cadence we're going to settle on yet. So transparently, I don't know if it's going to continue to be aspirationally 5 days a week, or right now I'm thinking 3. But we'll see, because I'd like to be as consistent as possible. So once I commit to it, to drop the episodes, on schedule. And but things are changing, and that's good. There's a lot more activity. Man, I've just got a lot going on. But let me just tell you, we've got some exciting things planned. Planning a very exclusive, very cool dinner concept, invite only. And excited to do that. Spent some time organizing that yesterday. And so that's going to be coming up probably in June is what we're looking at. But some really good stuff. But before we get too far into this, you still need the trivia that you didn't know you couldn't live without. So we would be remiss to not mention this. And of course, on this day in 1800, the United States Library of Congress was established. So 226 years ago. And also momentously, for all those who celebrate diabetes around the world, the soda fountain was patented on this day in 1833. So it's amazing. I mean, that's almost 200 years old. Is that incredible or what? 200 years of the soda fountain. And before that, I guess, you've had fermented drinks and that sort of thing, but we've gotten used to having bubbles and everything. So, relatively short period of time. I was reflecting yesterday because, of course, yesterday was the 21st anniversary of the very first YouTube video, which I then posted on LinkedIn. And how much has changed in that 20 years. And for that matter, in the grand scheme of things, 200 years isn't that long either. So who knows what's going to come next. But that brings me to my main point with the bigger stage. And that is that what's really taking shape as I'm working on all the pillars, the foundations of the business. We've got shows. We've got the main podcast. We've got networking and community events. And I'm going to be adding to that some kind of invitation for people to come record themselves talking about things that are important for their business. So, for example, doing their pitch and then recording a conversation about their pitch so that they can not only get it even better, but have an artifact to return to help them integrate that into their psyche, to get it, to go off book with it more quickly because they've had a conversation about it and they've got different looks and different takes on it. So I'm starting to really think about curating opportunities for that. And more broadly, I had a meeting yesterday with some other people that I had met on LinkedIn. And after we talked a lot about AI and some of the challenges with AI and some of the threats of AI, but then each of us talked about how we're using AI. So nobody's there saying we're not using it. I mean, everybody recognizes that we got to use it. But then that leaves the question, in addition to security issues and all the rest, how can humans best collaborate? How can we work together in the most productive way to do what only humans can do? And I keep coming back to this theme over and over and over again, that is really that's what the bigger stage is all about. We're going to continue to use all kinds of technology to help with processes and synthesizing data and et cetera, et cetera. Give you an example. So I don't have time to manually write a description of this podcast every day. So it is an AI rendition, as you almost certainly know already, that it takes my transcript, turns it into a description. I read it, sometimes more carefully than others, but I always read it. And sometimes I'll make a few changes to it. But for the most part, the ROI isn't on there to spend a whole lot of time going over that, description over and over and over again. So I don't bother. And that's fine. And it helps me continue to do the podcast and other stuff. Otherwise, I may not be able to do it just because it just takes too much time. And so I'm really grateful for that. However, the only reason it works is because it's taking a transcript of what I've already said without the use of AI. And so I think that was one of the other themes that we landed on, is that when AI is taking things that you've done that are original work, then great. But if you surrender your thinking to AI, then that's, for me anyway, that's not going to produce something that I want to put out in the world. So even when I use it to help me write, I write pretty fulsome, pieces that I then I treat AI as my editor, not my writer, if that makes sense. So in the scope of the bigger stage, I really see the bigger stage as being creating stages for people to express themselves more effectively, more entertainingly, more engagingly. Is that a word? I think it is. And really bringing out more of the humanity in our messaging as we try and build businesses and movements and influence to make the world and our businesses and our communities a better place. And I'm really excited about that direction. So if you have ideas, if you hear about anything that you're like, wow, that's a really cool event, or something unusual that brings people together, that helps them, collaborate in some unique way, I am all ears. Please feed me with whatever information that you have. And who knows, maybe we'll feature it on the show, or, there'll be a collaboration. So, but the question is, what are you doing today to cultivate even more collaborative relationships? What are you doing to collaborate and partner with people around a shared cause? Partnership is not as easy as it sounds. I guess that's another episode. It takes real intention and humility to collaborate successfully. It just doesn't happen. In fact, I find it rare to pull off a truly, truly great collaboration, a truly great partnership in business, because you just have different incentives. Even good people have this. It's just, things have to be very aligned. There has to be high trust. And so, but I think it's critical. I think we're going to need more partnerships moving forward, not fewer. And so that means we've got to get better at humaning. And hopefully the bigger stage can be part of that too, bringing those people together. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks as always for listening. And as always, please be good to yourself and others. And we will check back again with you Monday. Bye-bye for now.